Good morning, Xango Nation. I'm sure you can see the screen on the XU faculty workshop. Sandy has been working very, very hard on our new look on the workshop training and the XU. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to see something in about a week that's absolutely unbelievable. It's going to fit into your business so well because we all know we all need to be trained, and we all need to be trained in such a way that we make this business easy. And everything has to do with terminologies. And we're going to try to talk about that a little bit today and how we do hand out a sample. We know the power of 3 is so important, and we're so excited that Xango's doing this. Whoever is not on mute, please go on mute.
You are now muted.
We know what Xango's doing is so important. We see it every day in our work-day lives. We see it. We see what happens when you go into Costco. What do? They sample. What happens when you go into Sam's Club? They sample. You go into most places and they sample. It's absolutely unbelievable. The power of 3 is, I've never been so excited about Xango because you don't have to hand out a $30 bottle of product anymore. You don't have to give them a case to try. You don't have to try to convince someone to buy something they really are not sure they want to buy and put you in the doctor mode, telling them everything this product's going to do for them. With the handout like you see on the screen, you know, if you hand 3 of these out a day and take 3, your life will change. I guarantee it. It will change if you do it the right way. And that's what we're going to try to teach you today. Now, you can hand out more than 1 a day, more than 1 sample a day. I'd recommend that highly if you want to build a business fast. And we all know momentum or fast is a lot better than slow. But the process for the initial contact is make sure you don't try to sell this. You know, we're all talking to friends. None of us, think about walking into the car dealer, and I'm not saying anything wrong with car dealers, but you think about that. Is it a great experience for you? Do you enjoy having 1 or 2 or 3 people just jump on you when you walk in? I hate that. If there's anything I dislike doing, it's buying a car. And it's not because I don't want the car. Think about that. It's not because you don't want to grow your business. But when someone jumps down your throat before you even have time to think about what you want, sure, you're in looking at a car. You want to buy a car, obviously. But you don't want someone to start shoving something down your throat you don't want. And that's what this business is kind of like. When we try to sell this and make people want what we have, we look like we're selling. And not a lot of us are good at that. So we're good at sharing. Nobody minds Santa Claus coming. Everybody loves a free gift. Everyone loves somebody sharing something with. And think about this. Everybody loves an opinion. You go to your break room at work. Go to school teachers in a break room. Opinions flow like you can't believe. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get someone talking to you. If you can get them talking to you, they'll tell you everything you need to know to sponsor them in Xango. Because everyone wants what Xango has to offer, but nobody wants Xango. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but nobody wants Xango per se, but they want what Xango has to offer. I had no intention of getting in with Xango. I didn't want to get in with Xango. What I wanted was what Xango had to offer me, and that's the important part. What you have to offer is, think about it. Take a sheet of paper, write down why not Xango, and then take a sheet of paper and write down why you want Xango. And I'll guarantee you why you need Xango is a lot bigger than your I don't want. And everybody will do that. Everybody feels that way. The problem is we have to get it in their hands. We have to, it's like throwing starting a boiling water. If you jump in a boiling pot of water, it's pretty hot. But if you start heating it up slowly and you're sitting in, now it's a hot tub, and oh, this feels great. But you keep cranking up the heat, and it's like, oh, you won't even notice it. That's what life does to us. Life beats us up in a way that we're not used to, because when we start life, when we're going to high school, when we're going to college, our dreams and goals are in front of us. Then we get married, and what happens? Oh, we get a little nervous. Oh, now we need money. What do we need money for? Oh, here comes that first little one. Oh, now we need a car. And now the wife needs a car. We've got 2 cars. We're making payments on 2 cars. I'll never forget the time that Carol and I were making 2 car payments at a time. We had a house payment. We had kids. I said to Carol, I said, never again am I going to have 2 car payments, ever. When I get this thing paid for, I'm never going to have 2 at the same time. That's what life does to you. So when you when you're talking to someone, if you think about the sharing process, you're looking for people that are looking. There's not a shortage of that, like Ray Heron would say. There's never a shortage of people that are looking for more money or better health. That's what you're looking for, number one. What do? You share some information with them. But when you share it, make sure you just don't hand these out willy-nilly. You hand these out to people that make a commitment to you that they'll watch the video, they'll try the product, and then you ask for permission to get their opinion. If I was talking to, let's say, Tom Renault on the phone, and I said, Tom, I sure like your opinion about this product. I'll tell you what, Carol and I had our best day yet, and I respect you. If I knew Tom, I'd say, Tom, I respect you. And I'm sure I know you, Tom, so don't take this personally. But I'd just say I really would respect your opinion. Now, what's Tom going to say? Oh, no, you don't want my opinion. No, Tom's going to feel highly blessed because Richard wants his opinion. All of your friends love to give you their opinion. All you need to do is ask for it. And then you ask for permission to follow up. At this point, I'd like to bring on someone who's excellent at this. My buddy Troy Parker in Minnesota, I know how many of these he hands out. I know what he says to them, and I know he does it softly. But he does it quickly. He doesn't want them to run from him, so he does it in a way, and he gives them an out. He gives them, Troy, are you on the phone?
I am. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Troy. I really appreciate you getting up this early. I guess Minnesota, it's not that early in Minnesota, so thanks for being on the call today. Troy, when you hand out a sample, how do you do it?
Well, Richard, I'm not the smartest guy, and I just want to thank you and the leadership for, putting together this paint by number system, and that's really what I'm looking at the slide here, the process, and that's the shortcut. The shortcut to the system, and we can't shortcut that. But I just try to use and edify, you and all the other leadership. And we have Dr. Templeman, so I like to say, if I'm just talking to somebody, hey, I just tried these products. I watched this video from this Dr. Templeman and this friend of mine, Richard O'Brien, whoever your upline is, gave me these to try, and I really had some great results with it, and I think a lot about you, and I think that you'd benefit from these products. Is that okay if I just give you this gift, and will you watch the video for me?
Now, you're doing it with a friend now, right? And you're just
right.
Telling your friend that you appreciate their opinion, and you'd love to give them something. Does anybody say, Troy, I don't want a free gift?
No, Richard.
If they fight you on that, if they say, well, Troy, what are you really doing? I've seen you do this. You take it away pretty softly, don't you? And you say, hey, it's not for everyone. Or what do you say then?
That's right, Richard. That's right. This isn't for everyone, Richard, and I appreciate you at least taking the time to meet with me if they met with me, or if I just if your situation ever changes, just give me a call. I don't here we have Costco's, and they hand out samples at Costco, and I don't usually accept their samples. They always offer them crackers with carbs and stuff, but they don't go running down the aisle crying because I didn't take their sample. So that's the worst thing that can happen, is somebody's going to tell me no, and I don't take it personal.
My wife's got me on this lard reduction program. When I go into Costco, I have a hallelujah breakdown. I can't wait to get to the carbs. But anyway, go ahead, Troy. I'm sorry.
So I just, I look at, I'm just, doing what the folks at Costco do, but Xango's going to pay me better for it.
Really? You think they're going to pay? That's the key, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Costco doesn't give us anything. They're extracting money out of us. With Xango, we're sharing something with someone we're giving them life again. We're giving them a way out, aren't we?
Yes, we are, Richard. Yes.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it. I know how successful you've been doing it, and we really appreciate your leadership and how many you've handed out, because you do get them out and you know the process, like you said, the paint by number. But I really appreciate it, Troy. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thanks a lot, Richard.
Connie, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Let me introduce Connie Ross. Connie is a dear, dear friend of mine. I've known her, I don't know, Connie, probably for 12 years now, haven't I? 11, 12 years?
Yes.
And Connie is, when I met you, Connie, you were school teaching, and you really weren't too excited to meet me, if I remember right, but your husband met with me, and he kind of romanced you into Minneapolis to see us, and, over a dinner, if I remember right.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead.
If I went to a meeting with him, he'd take me to Red Lobster first. So.
How do you hand out samples, and what's your key? Now, Connie's a $1 million earner, but understand this: Connie didn't start out prospecting. Connie didn't start out doing all of these things, did you?
No, and I've had a complete transformation of who I used to be, because I was always the good wife that was a great secretary, kind of like Carol for you, and just rode on my husband's coattails. But then as time went on, I had to kind of step up and do what he was doing, and it really, has been a change in my life. And now you couldn't hold me back, because I'm so passionate about this business and these products. And when I talk to people, basically, I usually throw it out in third party, and I just say, and I always used to say, my husband started this business, and I tell you, it just took off like crazy, and we couldn't believe it. And then usually I stopped, and then they go, well, what kind of business? Well, he distributes a health beverage. Well, now I can't say that, and so I just always say, we've got this wonderful business that we're involved in, and we're looking for a few people that would like to get some better health or make some phenomenal income. Do you know of anyone I could contact? And the person looks at me and said, well, what kind of product is it? Well, it's a health beverage that works on inflammation. And I always say the same thing. Last night I talked to a lady down in Nebraska, and her friend asked me to call her, and I said, but you might be too young for inflammation problems. Listen, honey, I'm 74 years old. I've got inflammation from head to toe, and that's the in. And you just start saying, well, this product may help you, and it's been a blessing in our lives, and you won't know unless you try it. And she was game to try it. But it's just, when I am sampling too, I just say, well, we have samples if you'd like to try it. I'd send you some information, and I'd just like your opinion. But since I'm sampling you, I also need to have your name and phone number and email so that I can send you some great information. But I'm also going to call you back, because for tax purposes, I get to write this off. So if you'll sample it for me, you will be amazed like we were. This product will knock your socks off. And I just put it in the brain that it's going to change their life.
I love that, Connie. Did you hear that, folks? Did you hear how she got the terminology in, all of the things? It's going to change your life. It's going to, I can write this off. I can, she hit everything in her pitch, and I call it a pitch, and in her structure and how she did it. She led with sample, but she also led with money. She gave them a way to ask a question. So everything is in the delivery, and that's what the Xango University is all about. We're going to teach you how to deliver all of these things, and everything is in the verbiage, isn't it, Connie? I mean, you've tried things that didn't work, and you've had things that didn't work, right?
Right. Absolutely. And if you put it to them, you know, I've been doing some cold calling to small business owners because they're starving to death in these smaller towns. And we live in Rochester, Minnesota, but even in Rochester, but in the smaller towns, it's a tough deal trying to make a living. But basically, when I talk to them, I just, say, I'm involved with a $2 billion company, and we're expanding in this area. And I'm looking for someone that would like to make some serious income, and I can say, like we are, do you know of anyone I could contact that has an entrepreneurial spirit that might be interested in something like this? And they just look at me and say, well, what is it? Because I would be interested. And then you just start in with, well, it's a health beverage, and go down that road. And you will at least be able to sample them and get back to them. And I'll call you back in 3 days, and I'd like to know what you think about it.
So you let the tools do the work, Connie. You don't try to sit there for an hour and explain everything there is. You use the tools.
Right. And then I come home and I send them some information, and usually it's the Mayo Clinic video, and then a lot of times it'll, just some videos that are on Xango University, whatever fits that person. If I approach them about the business, I'll send them one of the business videos. I also like to usually send, is there a better way, or something like that, or some of Dr. Templeman's things from the Pro Pack, because I always like to sample at least the Limitless with the juice.
Okay. So you don't ever leave without getting their information. Would you give someone a sample, Connie, without getting their phone number, without getting their email address?
Nope, I've done it a few times and kicked myself all the way home, but no, I haven't. And the other thing is, I always tell people when they're speaking with someone, just kind of throw it out there and say, this is such a great product, whatever, and I'm going to have my friend Connie or my friend Richard or whoever call you, because they can answer any questions you have. And then that third-party approach, it works beautifully. And then they can either be on the phone with me or I will call them directly. But the door is open when I call and say, hi, this is Connie, and I'm a friend of Susie's, and she asked me to call you and answer any questions you have. And the first words out of their mouth is, yeah, she said you were going to call. And then I just kind of tell our story and about the product. And I can honestly tell you, 70% of the time, I will sign them up for Susie. And I always say, now, Susie's going to get credit because, she talked to you about this. And I said, we just worked together as a team. But I always just say, this will change your life. And
so you talk about the support system. If you heard that, folks, Connie talked about the support system. It wasn't all about Connie. It wasn't all about me. It wasn't all about Dr. Templeman. She used the support system that we have available to all of us, right, Connie?
Right.
And you always third person it. And when you third person it like that, it takes the pressure off from you. Am I wrong, Connie, or am I right?
Exactly. When Art started this business, he said, the wife has this crazy business, and man, it has taken off like we can't believe. And they go, really? Yeah. And he'd always put it off on me. When I talked, I always said, my husband started this crazy business, and it went to the moon. And I usually stopped. And they would say, what kind of business did your husband start? Well, he distributes a health beverage, and, it took off that way. But, it was, then I wasn't trying to sell them, and he wasn't trying to sell them. It was that third person. It worked so well. And so anyway, it's been good for us.
Connie, what really, it surprises me. I get quite a few three-ways from you and other people, but I'll tell you what, folks, you need to have someone you're running with in your support system to talk with. You have to have someone to put people on the phone with. That's the secret. That's the pixie dust of this business. Connie can't tell people, Troy can't tell people, Sandy can't tell people, Collie can't, I can't, how great we are. Because if we do that, we're bragging. And people hate braggadocious. But they love the third person. And they love bringing someone else in. You heard Connie say, a doctor, a friend of mine, you use these little Oh, these little nuggets. It's not about you. It's not about Richard. It's not about Connie. It's about the people in our support system. Everybody wants more out of life. Everybody wants a better life, but they don't know how to get it. You know, they've made $30 to $50 to $80 to $100,000 a year for 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, some people, and they don't think they can have more. They don't understand residual income, do they, Connie? It's
no,
just we have to teach them those things, and we have to do it slowly and softly. And some people will get it. You put someone on the phone with me yesterday. He gets it. But guess what, folks? He's a millionaire already. Was he interested in the products, Connie, when you talked to him?
Well, in the beginning, but then when I told him about the business, he jumped. In fact, Richard, while we were talking, you were talking in the interest, Bren called me this morning, and they just looked at the testimonials for the first chance, and he says, Connie, oh my gosh. And I said, I know, and he's got 3 more people now to sign up this morning, and it's amazing, you know.
So, and what was his opening order, Connie, with you?
Well, it was $440. He bought 2 Xango and 2 juice, and then he signed up 3 of his sisters right away, and they got 4 cases of juice between them. And he called this morning, and like I said, he's got 3 more people. I spent a half hour, Richard, last night, Friday night. I was trying to watch the Bruce Jenner deal. I got phone calls and people stopping by from 8 till 9:30. I wanted to scream because I just wanted to see the Bruce Jenner interview, and I got to watch the last 20 minutes. But he called again last night to talk, and we'd spent an hour the night before. We built a relationship.
Connie, is he your personal?
No, he's about 9 levels deep.
Oh, so in other words, someone else gave you his phone number, introduced you to him, and you just helped him with it.
Right. Yeah.
But did you leave that person in the other person's hands, or did you take over and work with that person to get the person signed, to get Brent signed up?
I took over and did it for them. Yeah.
That a girl. Okay. Well, I really appreciate it, Connie. I hope you heard everything Connie said and what Troy said. They use these little nuggets. They use the terminologies, and the terminologies are key. And I'll guarantee you both of them, both Connie and Troy, have read How to Win Friends and Influence People because they know how to frame the sentence. And we don't want to make this too difficult because it's not difficult. And it's very, very simple when you first start talking to your friends or acquaintances, people you know real well, because you do it out of love. I never had a problem handing something to somebody I loved because I'd look them in the eye and I would say something like, Connie, I think the world of you, dear, and I don't care if you do this as a business or not. I could care less. But I want you to try our products, and I want you to use our products because I care about you and Art. And if I cared and you're looking at them or you're talking to them, they understand that. And they understand, boy, you're real passionate about these things. So anyway, the process after you hand it out is you use the tools. The tools are so key because it's not you. The carpenter comes, but if he doesn't have the tools, he can't build your house. The mechanic will look at your car, and if he doesn't have the tools, he can't fix the car. And for some reason, there's a lot of people that will look at the tools and say, oh, I don't need the tools. I'm sorry, but you will need the tools. And the $10 or $15 a month that it's going to cost you for your tools is a very inexpensive way to build your business. You can't build any business in America for $15, $20 a month and also moving only $200 or $300 in volume. How does a person expect to have a multi-million dollar business and make even if you made $25,000 a year in this business, is what I always talk about. To make $25,000 a year in this business, you'd need, in anything, if you put it in the bank at 5% interest, you'd need $530,000 in the bank at 5% interest to make $25,000 a year. Think about that, folks. How many people do you know that have $530,000 or over $500,000 in the bank? And I'll guarantee you this, the older a person gets, like myself, I was 49 years old when I got into this business. I didn't know how I was going to help my kids with college. I didn't know how I was going to retire. I didn't have a clue because I'm not like everybody on the phone. I'm not smart enough. I wasn't smart enough to put money away and sock it away for 30 years. I spent it. Now, I know you don't on the phone, but I did. I wasn't that smart. I didn't put 10, 20% of what I made in the bank. I didn't understand that. I guess I thought I'd make more money each and every year. So retirement wasn't even I knew I was going to work the rest of my life. I figured I'd be sitting on a stool at Walmart being a Walmart greeter, and that's the only way I'd be able to retire. We didn't have these tools like you're looking at on the screen 12 years ago. We didn't have any of this. We just had sheer excitement. And in the beginning, I didn't have any excitement. If you've seen me, you know I'm not a health nut. I didn't care about the product. I needed the money. And the money, you're going to find people that need money or product. And somehow, when you sort them through the tools, you'll figure that out. They'll start asking questions if you get them talking. My problem was I talked too much. And when I quit talking, it just exploded. When I quit selling, it just exploded. Connie, you want to do the next slide, please, hon? Anyhow, the process is the follow-up. Here's the process. You ask, what products did you like best? Well, would you like to get products for free? Could they use an extra source of income? And if they don't, who do they know that might want to make some extra money? You're expanding your business in that area, and the company wants more production in that area, and you're looking for someone that's willing to do what you do: hand out retirement, hand out samples, hand out retirement, hand out samples. That's what you do. So, next, please. Connie is the smart one. She knows how to do this. Anyway, the plan. If you look at the plan that Xango is showing, the power of 3, what does it say? Now, obviously, for us all to do what we need to do in this business, we need to define our why. What's your why? What's going to happen? There's one word in a vocabulary that's going to hurt more than anything you've ever heard. You know what that is? Now, women don't understand this, but men do. No. N-O. We hate that word. And when we hand out something, when somebody says no, don't let it bother you. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves. They don't have a dream. If you've got a dream and you're on this call, that is so important because you have to get through the no's in life. We all do. I've been married 39 years. I've heard a lot of no's in my life, and I've handed a lot of things out where I've heard no. Does it bother me? Absolutely it bothers me. But am I going to stop? Am I going to let my broke neighbor, my broke relative? You have any idea how many relatives said to me, "Are you crazy?" My own family said that to me, half of them. But I didn't stop. You know why? Because I was broke. I needed the money. So I needed this. I needed this more than anything. I just had to figure out in my own mind if this was the right way. Well, now you've got a company that's been around 12 years in 43 countries. You know this company is the right way because when knuckleheads like me can make the kinds of monies that I make, anybody can do it. I know some of the people on this call. They're better than I am, much better than I am. And understand that. You're looking for people that are better than you. Don't ever forget that. You're looking for people with more money than you. You're looking for people that have made more money than you. You're looking for people that are better looking for you than you. All you're doing is sharing information with people and trying to set up a network of people. And with doing that, you'll get to your goals. But you have to set them first. How do you know where you're going? If you're going to jump in a car and drive out to Las Vegas out here or California, how are you going to get there from Minnesota? You can just jump in the car and go, or you're going to look at a map. You're going to figure out where you're going to stay. You're going to figure out who you're going to talk to. If you're in business, you're going to figure out who you're going to talk to. So you make a list. That's your map, the list. The list is free. Doesn't matter who's on that list. You put your chicken list on there. You put everybody you know. And don't try to convince anybody of anything. You go to sample and invite. What's the sample and invite? The sample is you give them a sample and you tell them you want their opinion. When you get their opinion, you press and play. You send them some videos. You send them a video from a gift from us, or you send them a video from the from the power of 3, from the new system. Everything works in conjunction with each other. And then what do? You follow up. How do you follow up? You call them and you ask them, hey, wasn't that the greatest thing you've ever... Here's what I say, and it's made me a few bucks. I give people an out. I'll call them and I'll say, hey, Connie, I'll tell you what, Connie, I can't believe you haven't called me. And Connie will say, what do you mean? You haven't watched the video yet, have you, Connie? And Connie will say, you give them an out. You don't be so forceful. You shove it down their throat. I give people an out because I know people are busy. I know how busy I was when I saw this. I was just trying to stay alive. I was just trying to make enough money for my family to live, let alone make millions of dollars a year, which I would have never believed until this business. I just wanted to make $1,000 a month, $500 a month. Let me get my product paid for. And that's what we do in this business. But in your follow-up, give people a way out. Why are you calling them? You're calling them for a reason to set up another meeting, right? Why are you calling them? To connect them with your team. You connect them with your upline support system. And that's what you do. You let them know it's not all about you. It's about your system. It's about your connection with the people that are working with you, your doctors that you work with, your millionaires you work with, all of these things. And then what do? You repeat. You repeat. Is that so difficult? And if you do that, you cannot lose. Like Ryan Anderson says, put a note in a dog's mouth. And this thing is so simple. It is. The problem is we all make it too complicated. We make it so complicated nobody can follow it. We've made this so easy with Xango and with the university. We're going to teach everyone. You plug people into the university, they'll learn what they're supposed to say. You plug people into the Power of 3 plan, the My Xango Builder, they'll know what to say, they'll know what to do. They'll have a way to track their system. They'll have a way to track all of their people. Next, Colleen. So it's so simple. Everything works in conjunction. And all you're doing, and I tell people this, I say, I just show people how to make a couple $100 a month residually. There's a big difference between residually and going to work at 7-Eleven. And there's nothing wrong with working at 7-Eleven because people are trying to better their families. See, they don't understand what to do because they've been told what to do. I was told what to do for 30 years. Guess what? I was broke. Why was I broke? Because I didn't think for myself. And I tried to, but it was always the boss's way. It was always the company way. I had to do it this way because they were writing the check. Now you're giving people a way to think for themselves. And that's what the Power of 3 does. That's what the university does. It teaches to draw out of you what you need to learn to be the better you. When you're the better you, you'll learn how to hand out samples better, and you'll learn what not to say. You heard a lot of it on the call this morning. But if you know what not to say, you'll know what to say. And there's no real wrong way except for talking too much. And then I tell people, I'm going to show you how your second or third month to make $600-700. And they can't believe that. Well, how do you do it? We sample. How did you get the person that gets in your business? You sample. If you sample, they'll sample. What happens if you have 5 people in your business handing out samples every day? Let's say they hand out 1. Guess what? That's 35 samples in your business that week. Out of 35 samples, if you do the 20-80 rule and 80% aren't interested, and by the way, I don't believe that because I don't think anybody can hand out samples right and only get 20%. I guarantee you'll get more than 20% if you hand them out right. But you have to do it right. And in the beginning, sometimes we're a little shy. We're a little nervous. So we hand them just to anybody. You have to qualify somebody. And if you do it out of love and with a smile, people will give you everything you need. They'll give you their phone number. They'll give you their email address. Why? Because you're usually talking to a friend. Think about when you have 10 people in your group handing out samples. Think about that. 10 people. That's 30 a day. That's $105. $105. 105 30 times 7 is Oh my God, that's 200, over 200 samples a week. Think about that. Think about 20%. That's over 40 people coming in your business a week. Do you think you can build up residual income that quick? Absolutely you can. When you go on a diet, do you want to lose 1 pound a week? No. When Chubby here goes on a diet, I want to lose 10 or 12 the first week, and I always do. Well, we know what it is, but it's more difficult to do it slow. Do it right. Get yourself situated where you can hand out these things and put blinders on. Don't let any one of your friends who complain and whine and bellyache about life tell you how to do it. Because how's the last 30 years worked? How's the last 20 years worked? You know, I was arrogant when I first saw this. I hung up on my sponsor 4 times. Everyone knows that. The power of 3. Thank you, Collie. 1 distributor, 30 samples a month. Think about that. 4 distributors, 120 a month. Month 3, 16 distributors, 480. Think about month 6. You got 29,460 samples a month going in your business. Now, most of us will look at that and they'll say, that can't happen. I guarantee it can happen. But it starts with 1, and it starts with the power of 3. If you don't put yourself in the game, it's absolutely impossible to do. If you put yourself in the game, you can have anything you've ever wanted in life. So come on with us, folks. Let's rock this thing. Let's teach the people. Don't be shy. Get information in people's hands. Tell them what they need to do. People are looking to you to know what you're going to do. If you do this, they'll do this. Why would they do it if you don't? So that's the way I look at it, and I'll tell you what, I'm so excited about this sampling. It's absolutely unbelievable.